Call the meeting to order.
You're right across from my house.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll ask for approval of the agenda.
Madam President, I move we approve the agenda with the following amendments. Number one, additional certified and classified personnel actions for consideration, item number C-3. And two, add item number C-5-C, disposal of technology equipment.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All opposed? In favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion passed. Let's start on the right here, I guess. Okay, then we will move on to the consent agenda.
Madam President, I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. We will move on to unfinished business, discussion of the Board of Education vacancy. We had the application sent to us yesterday. Everybody get a chance to look at those? Okay, so we can have discussion on how we'd like to move forward with that. Or nominations to fill the seat.
I would like to nominate Jonathan Galea.
Okay.
I think he would bring a diverse presence to the board. He has experience giving voice to different populations of the community. He's been a member of the community for a long time and has had children go through the district.
Okay. So then we need a second for that, I believe. Second. Okay. Any other nominations?
Madam President, I would like to nominate Nathaniel Hine.
You want to make any comments now or?
I just look at his, we ask for them to answer 3 questions and, based on his, he's got 15 years as a teacher. He's got a master's degree in education. He's worked in districts that speak up to 80 different languages. So I feel like he's pretty qualified for Garden City School District.
Is there a second for Nathaniel? I will second. Any other nominations? I believe, is that how we'll keep taking nominations? Okay.
I would like to nominate Andy Farmer, however he says it.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Just, based on his involvement in the community, his work history, the work he does, leadership, I think he instills the values that the board has.
Mhm.
And I think he gets the big picture of it. So.
Any other nominations? We have 2 that have been nominated and seconded. And let me know if I say any names wrong. Nathaniel Hack, is that close? Andy Farmeyer. Remind me how we did this last time when we had 2.
We just had a vote.
Vote for one or the other, and I think you can only vote for one.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Any other discussion you guys want to have before we vote?
I think they're 2 good candidates.
Yeah.
I appreciate people that wrote their name in.
I think everyone that's put their name in is definitely qualified. I think they announced that to the board, so yeah, I hope they keep working towards that goal. Honestly. Okay, Well, we will go ahead and vote, and you can vote for one or the other, I believe, and we will need 4. Okay. So Nathaniel Hack. Vote for him, raise your hand. And Andy Farmeyer. Okay. Well, that's why we're needing another board member, correct?
Yeah.
Any suggestions? Do we talk through it and take another vote? We can, and I'd even be willing to make a third nomination if that would be included, but, I don't want to get the second on it. So, option either. We kind of cease nominations, just to go from there with the 2 we have and talk through it.
That would be my recommendation. Of course, another option would be to hear from them and take another vote, say the next time we meet.
Okay,
But it's better if we could talk it out and
yeah,
come to a conclusion. Yeah, I'd have to say that, just to start off, first of all, I echo your comments there. We've got great people that put in their interest to serve, and that's encouraging.
mhm,
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure. I guess I was drawn to community service and past community service, and of course, kids in the district is an element that I've heard in the past, you know, in my time around Garden City here, hey, if you've got kids, you need to be on the school board, you know. But that's not a necessity, but it certainly helps you, your life focus is certainly on the school district if you have kids in the district. I think both of these candidates, as I recall, you know, do.
yeah.
Nathaniel Hack, how do you say his last name? I just liked his background with the education and the diversity of schools that he was an educator at.
For Andy, I looked at too, like Mark, I looked at the community involvement with him, but also I just kind of feel like he has a skill set that none of us have, that he brings with our facilities and things like that, with his background and his work history, that maybe he brings something to the table that I don't know, if we have that expertise or not. So, and then yeah, that's
Certainly
what I looked
engaged
at.
in community at many levels.
Yes,
I think the first time I had a much conversation with him and got to know him and his wife a little bit was in Washington, DC, when he was attending up there. He just puts a lot of effort, not only into his job, of course, but also particularly it's what I'm talking about in the community. And like others here on this list, he's a sharp individual. Certainly drawn to that.
Yeah, I agree with Randy in terms of his skill set, and I think it's an area that would be really important, especially right now. We've talked a lot. I think we've had some things come to the table in terms of facilities and different things like that. That's really important. But I also liked his perspective. It's something that we've not heard, I think, amongst the board itself. Just some of the areas that he has some concern and focus for. So I'm assuming it might be from his personal experience or people that are in his realm of knowledge. So that was also, I think, a good point for him as well.
I think they're both good
Yeah.
candidates, honestly. I don't like the pressure of being the side.
There's three of you. Maybe you could just hop over.
Well, have any more campaigning or anything like that? Unless you have that, of course, we can. What do you think, John?
I don't know. We're kind of in a 3-3 stalemate, so I don't know what the best way to resolve that is. I think both candidates have strengths. You know, I was drawn to Nathan just because of his experience in the schools. He's got a master's in education. He's worked in small communities to large districts. Schools that have 80 different languages in them. He's presented at national conferences, worked with people from all different backgrounds and educational levels. He's got 2 kids in the district. He's a leader in our community, he's a pastor. So he helps develop community relationships, bring communities together. And I was just pretty impressed with, I've never met the man, but just on what he brings to the table. So, wants our school to be a place where the kids can just learn and free from any political party, just for education. So that was important for me.
Maybe you need to meet the man. I mean, that was the thought here, unless we really got to get it done tonight. Maybe we ask those 2 folks to come and say a couple things.
You know, they're all good candidates. We've all said that. That's the problem is you're trying to pick the best of the best candidates that we have. They all check a lot of boxes, the quality and qualification. So I guess it boils down to, we need to decide what I guess is best for the schools and the board is what it's going to boil down to. Because qualification wise, I think a lot of them are there for that. So I guess it's, as a board, what direction do we want to move forward with? What are we looking for? And that's the $1 million question. So.
You know, and of course, the other option, another option, there's several things we could do, but 2 names in a hat. I mean, we're going to make a decision.
We
here.
need
It's just
to.
how do we get
Me too.
Well, I mean, for me, I want to point out too, and your comments are good, and I understand why you align with that, Dawn. But I feel like I've heard you also, make that comment about, we don't want to have politics playing, a role in the decisions that we make. And so I feel like that's a voice that's covered here. Like, I mean, that's a stance where I think that you will be a voice for people in that area and have been so far in your time here. I guess that was one thing that stood out to me, is that it's a bit repetitive. I feel like that voice does exist here on the board, and probably not just you. I think other, but you kind of voiced that particular statement. I think we all feel that way, but I feel like that's kind of one thing that you're really watchful for. So I guess that's where I felt like he's a bit repetitive, and I just want to have a voice that brings, or a person that has unique qualities that I feel like we need on the board.
I'm smiling because I thought his list was pretty.
Yeah,
unique
definitely,
stuff there,
definitely
so
impressive. They all are.
that's what's- Can we have them both? No, I guess I know the question to that, the answer to that.
And I'm just still processing your comments. I think it's important to not react on a whim.
Yeah, immediate. We could go to new business and come back to it. Can we do that, or no? We have to do it in order.
Why don't we come back to it? I mean, Colleen, she might be talking enough to rattle something and then. That might be all we need.
You have 55 seconds.
Just to distract you momentarily and then come back, okay?
Hey, that helps.
I don't know if it's a proper term, but we're gonna table that for just a few minutes.
All right, so in your board packet, included are 2 fiscal policies for your review. The reason the additions came about is we recently were given a federal fiscal file review, which has requirements in it for specific verbiage within our board policies. And so I went back through all of our financial board policies and then made the additions to ensure that we're in compliance with what that fiscal file review requires. Timeline wise, I was trying to give you guys a first look at those couple of policies, because in order to be compliant with those federal fiscal policies, I would need the policies approved on our October 3rd meeting so that I can fill out the questionnaire. It's due by the 7th, October 7th, to ensure that the district is compliant with those federal fiscal policies. The process that I used, I went through, reviewed our policies, compared that to what was required. I sent out an email to other districts to send me some of their fiscal policies so that I could use some of the language that they utilize in their policies. Took it, amended it to our district. It went through our legal counsel, who had a couple of edits, and now that final product is what you guys have in your board policies. So action would need to happen on October 3rd. And then if you have any questions between now and then, contact Dr. Dominguez and he'll send them over to me and I'll be happy to give you any information that you need.
No.
Did anyone time it? Was it a whole minute?
So
Just to make sure, does that include the grants and other outside financial resources? It's all the policies that were added? Okay.
Yes, so anything that was added is in red ink on those 2 policies. So those are all the additional language in it. Some of it was added to specifically the federal fiscal policy because I want to make sure that we are covered on all of our bases since it's a federal fiscal policy review. There's several other things too that we are answering on that fiscal file review. It's like 53 questions long. Some of it crosses over with SPED as well. So Mr. Guyman and I are also working on that together.
Now you're your minute.
Just drawing it out as much as possible so that you guys can,
I appreciate the explanation.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
We don't have anything else. Let's skip.
I know.
And I'll take the jump here because I really think the point that Randy brought up about, and I think Dana mentioned, our focus on facilities and some of the challenges we have there. I don't want that all on my plate, so this is kind of the selfish side of it. It would be good to have someone in that position that is expertise on that. I'd also like to see Nate on the board at some point, as well as some of the other applicants. So I'd be willing to change my vote to Andy, I think. But he's gonna see what he gets thrown at him right when he gets here. If that's what we end up going with. So this really is a hard one because I can see their qualities that they could greatly benefit our district.
I agree.
So I hope they keep reaching towards that goal. But I'm willing to go that direction. We need to do an official revote.
You do.
Okay.
But you want to be sure if there's anybody else that wants to say something.
Yeah. Any more discussion?
I think the only thing I would say on that is, one of the biggest things we talk about all the time is teacher hiring and teacher retention. And I feel like Nathan would be a better voice for the board and as far as ideas and stuff for that, opposed to Andy. I do understand the comments about the facilities and that as well. I also do know we have a facility director, so. That's one thing I would add to that.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd just say I agree with John, that comment. Sure. Probably need to take a vote though.
Um, Everyone in favor of Nathaniel Heck, please raise your hand. In favor of Andy Farmeyer? Okay. Motion passed. Andy will be filling the empty spot.
It really goes without saying that everybody, I hope they continue their interest in serving.
Yes.
They're all good.
Yeah, I don't think there's any bad.
Stephanie will get a hold of him. Thank you. I don't know, I was still thinking about what we just finished.
Oh, yeah.
You're fine. Just taking a breath there.
Yes, well, Madam President, we do have a
Yes.
bus here, if y'all wanted to get on it. To
Oh,
see what
okay.
that looks like, as far as that, of course, I have no idea what temperature it is. I've been inside since 11, so I don't know.
Right,
But it was cold this morning, unfortunately.
and it's still cool out there.
Yeah, so
today,
it's
so-
gonna be difficult to gauge, but it's there and it'll show you what we have if they actually turn them on, what it actually looks like, but I don't know if we get a true view of it with it not being 100 degrees outside, you know,
Mhm.
and having a hot bus and nobody on it, so anyway.
But we need to stop by tomorrow when it's hot again. See what it's like.
Absolutely.
According to my forecast, right? Yep.
Yeah, could I say, I know we don't have round.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. We don't have board open discussion on there, but can we? Go ahead.
You're the pres, you can do that.
I know, but sometimes I break the rules.
Uh,
Go ahead.
No, it was just a comment since there's been some active discussion here and in the community about our two middle schools and their sports facilities. I really appreciate all the work and board members that have personally taken a look at, you know, KH's athletic field and its condition and that kind of thing. I just kind of want to reiterate from as far as history, board considerations of those shared facilities. When I say shared, it's because, you know, the new high school became the new middle school. And so Memorial Stadium is intended to be a shared stadium, right? A shared facility. And so location is the challenge maybe, but certainly we've always intended that AstroTurf nice facility to be maintained as a very nice facility and shared by both middle schools. And so I haven't looked lately at the condition of, say, the school spirit that's exhibited in the paint jobs and stuff like that around that particular facility. But hopefully it's a shared paint job, if you will. In other words, it's promoting both middle schools. And it should, until we can figure out how we can afford something different. So if it isn't that way, it should be that way. And I certainly understand the concerns that have been expressed by parents and others about the current condition there at KH. And it would certainly feel like there is an unfairness there if they were trying to compare the two facilities as separate facilities, one for one and one for the other. It's not intended to be that way at all. So if we need to reinforce that somehow or encourage paint job changes or whatever is needed, can't do anything about the physical location, but certainly we can still take part in that Memorial Stadium as a feature of the community. And that its purpose is to be a shared facility between the two schools. So I just want to reiterate that.
Good comments. Anyone else like an opportunity to speak? Okay. The next board meeting will take place on Monday, October 3rd at 6 p.m. in the board meeting room. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam President, I motion that we adjourn.
Second. I don't know what I was gonna say. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Meeting adjourned.